You're watching HTV News Science Talk. I'm your host, Haru. Today, adrenaline is making the topics and the headlines. We have our special guest, Mr. Eloy.
Hello, hello. Nice to be here again.
Yes, it's been a long time no see, and how are you doing?
I am actually doing quite well. Quite enjoyed our last talk and looking forward to our next talk, which is
Yes,
adrenaline.
a lot of viewers I've scrolled through Instagram comments, they're asking, who's Mr. Eloy? So, would you might, make a little description about yourself?
Sure, I am an anonymous teacher and based in a school somewhere and just, happy to talk to students about random topics here and
So,
there.
yep, there's Mr. Eloy's self description there. So, back to the topic. What is adrenaline?
Well, that's a good question. Haru, have you ever been really excited or sometimes, something scares you quite a bit? How do you
I'll
usually feel?
usually feel my heartbeat racing.
Yeah, and that is really due to chemical responses in your body, right? So there is this hormone in our body in these fight or flight situations. So basically, your body is saying, okay, you're in this situation right now. You either fight that person or you're going to run away. Both situation is going to require a lot of blood to your muscle. That's going to increase your heart rate. It's going to increase your breathing, right? So adrenaline is basically that chemical that helps you to kind of stay alive in that very
It tries to
stressful
strengthen yourself,
situation.
basically.
And that is part of what that chemical does. It makes you, in certain situations a little bit
So,
stronger
it's actually
too.
some life threatening situations, like your body will react.
Yes, I think your body will release this chemical more in more life-threatening situations when your body kind of knows that, oh, you're you're going through danger. And it's also like this interesting point too. How does our body actually know that, oh, this situation is actually life-threatening right now? And a lot of that comes down to the way your brain processes information as well. On a subconscious level, it's like, well, is it really a life or death situation? Like, for example, if I was a boxer, right, I
Boxers
go to my next match. Yeah, I know I'm not going
die.
to die. Will usually not die, but at the same time, maybe you can actually trick your brain into thinking, okay, this is actually a life or death boxing match. And then maybe you can actually pump more
So you can
adrenaline into your
punch
body
harder,
then, and
punch
maybe
harder.
that way you can actually become. Yeah, that can be a possibility. So that's the essence of adrenaline, a chemical that helps you survive those really
Yeah, and I'm
stressful
also scrolled
times.
through the internets about adrenaline. Is that we have some examples about adrenaline for you guys to understand more. Like, what is adrenaline? So, so first we have to know where is adrenaline released?
I think you can
It's on
answer
top of
that
the kidney.
question.
A lot of people think it's released from the brain, but why is it released from the kidney?
That's a good question. So the chemical is actually made in the kidney, right? And then obviously, if you're going to release that, it's going to require a certain cascade of other chemical releases as well. But as to why it's situated there and made in the kidney, I'm I'm not entirely sure about that. Right? Our body functions in mysterious
So
ways,
you guys
and
don't get mixed up.
yeah.
It's not from the brain. Okay. So examples that I've scrolled through the internet was that there was a blind man, which is actually blind from birth. So when that guy was born, he was already blind, so he couldn't see anything. So one day
Mhm.
he heard his neighbors were screaming, and then he just automatically walked like with the stick, obviously, like out the door, and then felt heat, and then he knew it was like a fire on the neighbor house. And surprisingly, he went into the house without even burning himself and saving his neighbor.
Yeah, that's actually quite
And
incredible too.
and
And
that is
like,
adrenaline.
yeah, I think we need to commend the bravery
And
of this
as he
person
walks
as
into the
well, right?
fire,
Not
adrenaline will be
knowing.
released. Like he will feel things like
Hmm.
more
Yeah,
aggressive.
yeah, exactly.
And I have one more that it was about like a police officer was going through shootouts. It was probably in California or Los Angeles or something. Los Angeles, something like that. So he actually saw the bullets going past and like shells ejecting from the other officer, and actually see the name on the shell. It's like some slow motions happening on.
Yeah, the I think that phenomenon is called bullet time, where you have so much adrenaline, things kind of slow down for you in that second as well. Have you ever found yourself in that kind
No,
of
but
situation where
I tried to train
doesn't
my
things
body
slow down
once.
and
Not
did things slow
slow
down?
down, but the punch was harder that I punched through a glass of water.
Hmm. Let me ask you this: uh, in a life-threatening situation, um, so your body releases adrenaline, and what adrenaline does, it basically it's in your bloodstream, and it travels all around the body. Okay, primarily how hormones work is you release this thing, and then any receptor is like a glove on a cell that is very specific to a particular thing. So for this example, there are receptors that specifically catch adrenaline hormone. Okay, can you take a guess as to what happens around our body, or what happens in different regions of our body when adrenaline is released? For example, do you think in a life threatening situation, will your pupils dilate? Will your pupils become bigger? Right? Pupils, when they become bigger, they allow more light to enter and maybe see a little bit more and better. Do you think when adrenaline is released, your
No, they
pupils will
won't become
dilate?
bigger, but they'll release more energy.
Uh, well, that's the thing actually. Like one thing I want to mention here is adrenaline is not just about giving you super strength. They do many different things as well. So actually, adrenaline will dilate our pupils so that we can, have more light into our eyes and see
Like a muscle is like
better.
normally it's only like 70%, right? But when adrenaline is released, it's actually 100% the punch. So a lot of people get mixed up when they say it's 100%, 100%. I punched you 100%. I did something 100%, but it's actually not 100%. Like probably in a competition you
Hmm.
run, and the 200-meter run or 100-meter run, you say, "Oh, I ran the fastest. This is my 100%," but it's not. When actually a person points a gun behind you when you run away, that is 100%.
Possibly, I think that might be it. So I guess in maybe one obscure universe where when people actually go sprinting, they should have somebody running behind them pointing a gun to
Okay.
actually get the fastest time.
um, is there is there negative effects for adrenaline? Like what happens if adrenaline be used too much?
Okay. So one of the effects of the reason I mentioned about the eyes is actually I wanted to kind of go through the different you know effects of adrenaline on different body parts, right? So obviously in a fight or flight situation, do you want your heart to pump
Yes.
faster? For sure, right? The reason you want your heart to pump faster is because you can get a lot of oxygen and maybe, lots of glucose being released into the bloodstream as well, so your muscles can use it. And the other thing is that in a fight or flight situation, do you think it is a good time to poo?
No.
No, definitely not. So your body actually in those situations says, okay, let's not make this person poo because it's
Yeah.
not the right priority right now, right? So the blood of the blood vessels, the blood doesn't go to the digestive system. So if you consider the effects of adrenaline on the different parts of the body, and if you think, well, oh, another thing is, if you are in a fight or flight
No.
situation, do you want to sleep?
You'll get knocked out.
No, right? So, so gather all of the effects of the body, of adrenaline on the body, and if that persists for a long time, right? If you have constant adrenaline release all the time, so what are the effects? Your pupils are always probably going to be dilated. Then you probably can't sleep very well because your digestive system doesn't get a lot of blood because your body doesn't want to give that area too much blood right now. Then maybe you can't digest food properly. You can't poop properly. Your heart is constantly beating very fast. You're always breathing quickly. You're always
That's why those
hyperventilating as well.
boxers sometimes have problems.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think having a constant adrenaline release is
Like
more
I
of a
heard from the
disorder
internet,
as
like they will
well.
struggle to breathe or sometimes actually causing a death situation or a case.
I think that might be the case because if you have constant high blood pressure, your heart's constantly working really hard, and you're not sleeping very well, and you're not eating very well. Because I'm pretty sure in a fight or flight response, will you have an appetite? Will you be like, oh, I kind of want to eat food right now? Probably
Like
not, right?
after I made the remember the science talk episode 1, we talked about time traveling. And at the end I said that we were going to talk about, like, on this episode right now as we're shooting this video. Um Last time we are going to talk about a a chemical in our body that will make ourselves stronger. And I did say about that on my Instagram as well. And some people actually commented on that specific post, was like, do animals have adrenaline? Or do any other types of species on this earth, living creatures, have adrenaline? Like, what if, like, a lion was chasing a deer, and will that deer actually run faster than normal because the deer is releasing adrenaline?
That's a good question. And if we think about evolution, we actually came from primates and things. And it's likely that we have a common ancestor. And you know, adrenaline serves a good purpose for us. So I think if you do a quick Google search as well, you'll find that almost all animals actually have this kind of fight or flight
Then where,
response as
where are
well.
they? Where are
And
they
they'll also
released?
have adrenaline.
Like, still the kidney, or like every animal is different.
Uh,
Like, we are also an animal.
too sure. I'm not too sure. Maybe. That's a good question though.
So yeah. So this is basically adrenaline, and I hope you all know what is adrenaline, and you can also try to trick yourself to think you're in life-threatening situations. Like, have you had that experience before, Mr. Eloy? Like, a life-threatening situation and having adrenaline release from your body.
Actually, I have. When I was studying abroad, I was studying in this town that when it's nighttime, it's actually quite dangerous to be out and about, right? And I was catching the train home really late at night, and then you can see some of these bad-looking people walking into my car of the train, and then they sat next to me, and then they made some comments. I can feel my heart beating faster, my body starting to shake uncontrollably too. I cannot control it at all. I started breathing faster, and then I'm just really on edge. So
So you
yeah,
wanted to
I
punch
think
them.
a lot of us will experience it. I wanted to make sure that I defended myself
So be
rather
prepared.
than punching them. Yeah, exactly. Be prepared, or like be prepared to run, because in some situations there's just one of me and a lot of them, and in situations like that, it's either your two responses, right? You either fight or flight. It would be much smarter to flight at that time, to run away, right, rather than fight so many people, and I might just not make it out alive.
Yes, and I think that's a little wrap up for today's video, and I'll make uh, a little talk about the next episode we're gonna talk about. Okay, Mr. Eloy.
Sure
So
thing. Can't
we're
wait.
going to talk about if we talk about we. So the next science talk episode, which is probably 3 weeks later, is about dinosaurs. We might talk about
All right,
dinosaurs,
all right.
and we might make a video about science experiments as well.
Oh, you know what we could do? We could ask our audience to comment down below what we should talk
Yes.
about
So
next as well.
Mr. Elo, do you have any suggestions? What topic would be next?
We can let the audience decide and make sure that they comment in your comment
Guys,
section
comment down
below.
in the comments like what you want us to talk about in the next episode. Like type 1. Type 1 in the comment if you want us to talk about dinosaurs. Type 2, like type number 2 on the comment section if you want us to talk about science experiments. And also comment down what you want us to talk about, and me and Eli will surely make a video to talk about that. Right, Mr. Eli?
Sure, if it's not too hard, I think.
Yes, so
we're good.
Mr. Eloy, thanks for coming to our episode today. And yeah. So you have anything to say, or I'll do a little wrap up?
No, other than maybe everyone listening, go love and go give some love to your mom and dad, and hope everybody stays
Okay.
happy.
So we all enjoyed today's episode. Adrenaline is an amazing thing. And yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next talk, and I'll see you guys over and out. I
Run out, bye.
You guys have to like this video, press subscribe, notification bell, follow my Instagram and Twitter as well. And now I'm gonna see you guys in the next video with me, Haru, over and alright.
Out.
Hope you all enjoyed today's video. Adrenaline was a very fun topic. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow my Instagram and Twitter, and hope you all enjoyed me and Mr. Elo's episodes. And that's all everything. Enjoy, over and out.